Right, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, it's Anthony Carpenter here at the Cambridgeshire Collection on the third floor of Cambridge Central Library. Thanks to Mary, the local studies librarian, I've been given kind permission just to do a short blog post on some of the documents that I've been looking at earlier this afternoon. For those of you who don't know, this is also the place where the County Council puts all of their printed consultation documents. So you've got big things such as the draft Cambridge Local Plan, or the Greater Cambridge Local Plan even, and they've also got the big maps here, and also the East-West Rail consultations, even though for now those two consultations have closed. But the Minister for Housing and Planning, Matthew Pennycook, has just announced earlier today of the proposals to create a new development corporation for Cambridge, with the details that lots of people have been asking about. And the main ones really to pick out are, one, the area, the geographical area that ministers are proposing is the area of Cambridge City Council and South Cambridgeshire District Councils only, in the grand scheme of things, because it matches the areas for the emerging local plan. Now remember that the local plan and the proposals coming from the Development Corporation as proposed will be working from the same evidence basis. It's not going to be the Development Corporation coming in and tearing up everything that is in the local plan. They want to work with it. That's what Peter Freeman and his team told South Cambridgeshire District councillors last week. One other thing to note is that the proposed Development Corporation is not going to take over all of the local planning powers. It's only going to focus on the really big stuff. Off the top of my head, I think certainly housing developments over 100 units, and also with minimum levels of area space, also in particular for industrial and employment uses and leisure uses as well. Now, one of the things that I've been doing, one of the things I love about the Cambridgeshire Collection is you can find out really random histories, and actually this is one of my favourite that I've just found. It's a history of skateboarding in Cambridge, and it's actually a very recent publication written by Sim Higginson and Joe Lewis. And one of the things that I really hope comes out from the draft local plan, and also for the Development Corporation, is that we get a new roller skating rink, and in particular a new home for the Cambridge Rollerbillies. They taught me how to stop and fall over safely, and how to skate backwards on roller skates just over a decade ago. So it's a competitive roller derby team for women, and men can also take part if they want to become referees, but not actually in the competitive side for obvious reasons. Now, looking at these three books that I've got in front of me, one of them is called The Cambridge Phenomenon Revisited. It's basically a follow-up to the 1984 document. This was drafted in the year 2000, and it's in two parts. At the very end of the second part, there's an interesting point about the physical aspect of Cambridge. And similar again with this one, Cities of Innovation. It's kind of a joint project, this one, between Cambridge and Harvard. And again, that one again is from the early millennium, 2003. And then this one, the Cambridge Futures document, which for me actually form an essential part of the analysis that needs to be done before the development planners and the Development Corporation start building anything or commissioning anything. The reason being, in particular with this one, as you can see, the title itself kind of speaks for itself, What Transport for Cambridge? And the reason why I think this one is important, and again this was published in 2003 by various partnerships, but in particular the Department for Architecture, is that it comes up with a whole series of proposals that kind of inform how we got to where we are today, and why, in particular, the current Greater Cambridge Partnership got really tied up in things that were utterly avoidable, such as congestion charging, because the congestion charging issue is actually included in these documents from around the year 2000s. In 2007-8, the County Council undertook a major consultation on congestion charging, and it indicated what sort of infrastructure improvements, such as light rail, that local residents wanted to see put in place before any congestion charging system was put in. Now, as we know, the Greater Cambridge Partnership a couple of years ago completely ignored all of that, because I tabled public questions and asked them if they'd studied those consultations, and very clumsily went straight ahead with their proposals, only to find that the politicians couldn't get it past residents at the ballot box. And that's one of the reasons why we are in a situation where the entire city access project, which is supposed to be the core part of the transport solutions, is still not going ahead, and nobody's got a solution to it. Now, one of the things that came up and is featured in the Cambridge Futures document are things such as the bus tunnel and things such as the a road orbital which tunnels under the Gogmagog and Limekiln Hills, and also they try and propose bringing back the flyover over Stourbridge Common, which got thrown out in the 1960s because residents didn't like the idea of having a major road flying over one of the big pieces of open green space that thousands of walkers enjoy regularly. So one of the things that I think, and this is especially for any researchers at Anglia Ruskin or Cambridge University or the Open University or anywhere else, would be good to look at and to study, is to do a historical evaluation of these various plans. Because if we go back even further in history, we've got a wonderful document by one of the most pioneering, if I can call them local civil servants, local government officers in Cambridge's history, and this was Gordon Logie's Future Shape of Cambridge. Now, while I really don't like the architectural style of the things that Logie was proposing, he was an absolute pioneer of his times, because he was forcing the city council and also just the wider population to face up to some of the really difficult issues that the city faced. And one of the things I really like about going through some of these documents is this is what he thought Cambridge would look like in the year 2011. And he was writing this in 1966. So again, one of the things that in public policy circles, and I include myself in this because I used to be in the civil service working up policies on these things, is that we're really bad about going back to those original plans and evaluating them and actually asking the questions of what went well, what didn't go well, what did we get and why did we get it, and what didn't we get and why didn't we get them. And I think until the local institutions and those in charge for decision making are prepared to at least commission those studies and look at the conclusions and look at the recommendations of them, they risk making too many of the same mistakes that their previous generations and predecessors have done. It's not been a great day on that front either, because some of you may have seen the Cambridge City Council's Planning Committee approving that monstrosity that is the Kett House carbuncle, even though they've put a whole host of conditions on it. So kind of watch that space, and if anyone in the future is watching this video, I do apologise on behalf of this generation, because some of us, myself included, tried to oppose the application but had sand kicked in our faces again. Anyway, I'll see you soon.